Welcome back to the Battery Podcast. I'm Aiden,
I'm Jack.
And I'm Casey.
and we're here to recap probably the one of the quieter weeks we've had in the last month or so from a Cannons perspective. Um, I think just two moves to talk about. I forget which one happened before the other, so we'll talk about Casey, the guy from your neck of the woods, Graydon Hogg, another lefty
Yes.
tackman, former Albany Great Dane, uh, signed through, I guess signed to a 1 year deal, so he'll be at training camp. Um, Casey, do you remember? Do you ever get to see him play?
I think I saw him play in one game a couple years ago against Penn State. But at the time, honestly, I didn't watch college lacrosse at that time, sorry to say. Um, but I'm really excited to have a UA guy on the team. Also a guy that plays in box right now. Although I wasn't really able to find any stats on him playing outside of a couple posts from Instagram. But yeah, I'm excited to see what he can bring. Looking at some of his stats from college, seems seems pretty hopeful. So
Yeah,
we'll
for
see.
sure. And he is, as you mentioned, playing in the NLL now with the Rochester Nighthawks. He's
Mhm.
Canadian, so we know saying he's a lefty, he's all left, for sure. Would be very surprised to see him score an off-handed goal, but obviously the Cannons just need a guy on that lefty wing. So um yeah, we'll see how he does with that stiff competition. So right now we have him, we have Manny, we have Brian Cameron, we have Mike Robinson. Anyone else I'm leaving out?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mm,
Gav is technically a free agent, right?
yeah.
Yeah, but I mean he's not going to be at training camp. I think if he were going to come back, he'd be signed.
No, yeah, absolutely. I just couldn't remember if he was what his standing was.
No, I believe he and uh
Robinson.
who?
I think Robinson was he just through 24?
Oh yeah,
Mike Robinson?
we gotta check. Let me check if Robinson is technically a free agent or not. I thought the rookie contracts were for multiple years,
They
but
are. I think he might have been on the 30% thing,
oh yeah,
but no one signed him, so he technically became a free agent, but I don't remember when exactly free agency closes, but I think if no one signs you, you just go back to the team you were on or something like that. So,
yeah, that's right. All right. So another guy to throw in the mix there. Um,
yeah.
I mean, still definitely feels like it's Manny's job to lose. Or I mean, as we've talked about, if they sign whether it's Maxi or Hilt or rather draft, um, you got to figure that's still someone else coming in through the pipeline. But we'll see. I mean, hopefully it's like three or four or five, however many it is, like elite options that makes it a difficult choice for Coach Holman. All right, and then the other move was a guy we haven't seen in the PLL for a while, but he's also been playing in the MLL. TJ Camizio, short stick D mid, who I believe in the PLL last played for the bubble champion Whipsnakes. So I think 2020 was his last game outdoors, although he has been playing pretty successfully indoors. He was with the Georgia Swarm right now. Um, so yeah, that's I guess he kind of replaces Pat Aslanian on the D mid or Aslanian and Parlett, right, I suppose, because you got to figure Fairman, Goodrich, and Trainer are still the three go-to guys, but again, can't hurt to have another good option. And as well, maybe if we don't know. We know Trainer's rehabbing. It looks like he's doing well, but if he's not ready week one, you want to have someone else there ready to go. And yeah, can't be too much of a problem to have too many guys in that position where you really get tested quite a lot.
Yeah, I mean, always good to have another set of legs, another body, especially, you know, you never know what's going to happen. during the season who might get hurt, you get tired. I think you're allowed to have an extra rostered guy for homecoming weekend
That's
as well. And with the Cannons having the final weekend as homecoming, you might have a combination of injuries that come up throughout the season, general fatigue, and also playoffs. I think they go straight into the next weekend. So depending on, I mean, don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but if they are in the playoffs and do not have a bye, then you might also want to make sure that guys are getting some rest there if they're going to be potentially playing back to back and then straight into the playoffs the next week. So never a bad thing to have another body out there.
Yeah, for sure. Got to figure that someone's getting a rest one of those days of that final weekend, unless it's like the Cannons desperately need to win both games to make the playoffs, which I mean, I don't think is going to happen. But you never know. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so hopefully, TJ, welcome to the squad. Hopefully he has a fantastic year that makes us look like a genius move and makes us wonder why he'd been in the player pool for so long. Um, all right. And I guess we can touch on there have been some other coordinator signings. Um, Confirmed that Chris Conlon is staying on as a D coordinator for the Redwoods. So it's kind of interesting. Like the head coach GM leaves, um, the offensive coordinator leaves, but the defensive coordinator stays on with the new staff. Um, so that squad's built up now. We've got yeah Conlon and then Chris Bachlet, obviously former. That whole family kind of played for the Outlaws back in the MLL days, so he'll be the O coordinator. I think of that whole family as defensemen, but I believe Chris was an attackman, hence him
Yeah.
being the
Yeah.
guy now. Um,
Yeah, that's a big name coming out. That's a name that I haven't heard of or thought of. We talked about the Cannons being the family team with the Kavanaughs and the Curse, but that was like the OG
yeah,
family squad with the Bocklets. I remember, yeah, just that's a name I haven't thought of or heard of in a long time. So it is cool to see the Bocklets, going into the next phase of life of now coaching in the league.
yeah, and I know Bachlet had been coaching somewhere, trying to see where it says in the uh
Wasn't it just high school?
yeah, Wheat Ridge High School to its first college lax, and then Allen High School in Texas. Um,
Growing the game.
yeah, and a club program too, looks like. Yeah, so that's awesome. I mean, too, Colorado and Texas. I know Colorado's had this scene for a while. I feel like Texas is still on the up and up. It just takes a little bit to get that edge over, not over football, but just to get that foot in the door. Where you never replace a
Never
football
gonna
team.
get
I know
that, especially in Texas.
No.
Not a shot.
that. But to for the guys to think in the off season that maybe they can
Play lacrosse just might be a better way to stay in shape than baseball,
yeah, exactly.
or a
Uh,
more fun way than track.
yes. And depending on your position too, right? Like you're not going to get many offensive defensive linemen playing track, but maybe they could play some lacrosse in the spring.
True.
Um, yeah, and then the Chaos have their assistants as well. We got some more MLL legends with Matt McCready's and Kyle Sweeney.
Yeah, that kind of hurts to see Kyle Sweeney going to Carolina. I mean,
Yeah.
I know he, it's not like he was a career cannon, but I certainly have fond memories of him
Hmm.
in Boston. So kind of tough to see him take a job with another squad now.
Yeah, like we asked Chris Eck when we talked to him over the fall of the winter, if he
Hmm.
had two guys all time to be on the wings, and Kyle Sweeney was one of them. Um,
Yeah.
and Hall of Famer, right? As of I believe it was this past fall. So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah, well deserved. One of those guys
Absolutely.
who stuck around and played for um, certainly a lot longer than the average career length, especially at the time in early MLL, where it felt like guys are getting paid like 6 grand a year. Um, and also, oh yeah, teammates with Roy Colsey on the Philadelphia Barrage. Uh,
So makes sense there. You got a connection.
yeah, absolutely. So I don't know who did Brian Holman play with in college that we could get like he's a little further removed than Roy Colsey is.
Yeah, just a little bit. I think we're more likely to get, some of those UNC coaching days or Utah like the Holmans. Maybe Marcus can just go from be player coach or
Yeah.
transition once he retires.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate it. We'll see someone like Hartzell did, where retired
Yeah,
playing just to switch to a coach immediately.
yeah,
But hopefully he would stick around a little bit longer. No offense to Hartzell, he's got his own, career priorities, whatever. But yeah, so I think
sure.
that's all the coaching vacancies that are filled now.
I
Um,
believe so.
yeah, unless someone has retired or quit and not mentioned it. But yeah, so we know, everyone can really start working on their draft boards now. Um, you think, I guess, I don't know, Oderna is certainly going to give a look. Obviously, he's got a lot of experience seeing some of the top talent in lacrosse. Jernstead maybe helps us find a D3 sleeper at Grove City. I wonder if we'll see anything like, you remember we had, I think his name was Sterling Hupp, who played club under Kyle Hartzell at Texas, got invited to training camp.
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll see a Grove City kid get that same offer.
We certainly could. I
Yeah.
wouldn't put it past them.
No, because again, it's like we got to find a lefty attackman, and I wouldn't say need to find anything else, but there's probably face off is a position you could upgrade. Um, wouldn't be surprised to see them get another pole at this point.
Never have too many polls.
No, no.
That's the Cannon's motto right there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to asking about that the next time we talk to Coach Holman. Yeah, I think that about covers it on the PLL news. So,
Right before we hopped on, I actually had just seen something on Instagram pop up about a rumor. So just a rumor that Ty Kurtz from the Chaos and from the Firewolves um, is released from the Chaos.
oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um,
who reported that?
I saw it on the Red Legions
Okay, and they
Instagram,
would
actually.
know. Hmm,
Yeah. So,
interesting. I wonder if that is just if he wants to play summer box or if he feels like he's not going to
mm,
have the role that he wants. I can't think of off the top of my head all the people they've brought in, but obviously there's, with the new regime, a good amount of
yeah.
turnover.
Yeah, yeah, Chris or Adam Levi tweeted it and Chris Rosenthal reposted it. Yeah.
All right.
And Adam Levi specifically says, I've heard from sources that Ty Kurtz has been released by the Carolina Chaos. If Kurtz is not playing in the PLL this summer, this means another high-level Canadian talent could be playing summer ball up north,
Yeah.
which makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
'Cause I think,
definitely a lot of fun to watch, not just because he's on the Firewolves, but he's a lot of fun to watch playing in the NLL. I think he had like 6 goals last night, which was awesome.
yeah, 6 goals,
Um,
3 assists.
yeah, he had a
Damn.
great game last night.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so I wonder what will happen with that.
Yeah,
I'd
it's
like to see him play more in the PLL.
absolutely not against the Cannons, but yeah. It's a little worrying. I think we all know that like eventually the box field thing is going to have to come to a head, and it seems like the summer box leagues. I don't know how like official it is that all the people are getting paid, but I know like they can outcompete the PLL salaries, and so
Hmm.
I'm glad Dane Smith and Josh Byrne have wait, no, Dane Smith didn't. I'm glad Josh Byrne has stuck around through it because he's certainly
Yeah.
someone who could get a good chunk of change in any league he's playing in. But yeah, you gotta hope that the PLL salaries bump up. I mean, I'm glad the Cannons don't have a super prominent Canadian on the roster, but they lost Lyle basically because of the travel schedule versus what the summer box leagues could do, and this is Kurtz, and I mean the Chaos basically had to rebuild their whole roster um, because they all went to play
Mm,
that as well. So we hope that I believe the media rights agreement is going to be up after this year, and they're negotiating another one after that. You hope they'd be able to include a good salary bump for players and for coaches too, um, to to just make sure the guys stick around longer, can make this more of a full-time thing, and um, yeah, for the coaches, just so you can maybe attract maybe a good college candidate away, or make that, if that could be a college coach's, or rather a PLL coach's full-time job, rather than, being a coordinator in college and in the pros. That would, I think, do a lot.
right. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, shall we switch to college?
Sure thing.
Yeah, all right. So let's start with the positives. Jack, your UMass Minutemen got back in the winning column.
Yeah, again, did not watch any of it. Been plugged up watching Masters all weekend. Some thrilling golf, but good to see UMass pulling out a win. I know St. Barney's isn't very good, but I think the score was 15-4, so phenomenal
Hmm.
performance both on the offensive end and the defensive end. So, go Minutemen.
Yeah, absolutely. As well in the positives, Harvard beats Penn 13-6, so they're going to be in the Ivy League tournament for sure, which I think we already kind of knew. But I mean, they absolutely walloped Dartmouth last week, and still a good win over a not so great Penn team this year. Um, got our boy Zach Goodrich, his Brian Bulldogs pulled out a great one over Bucknell. I had that game on in the background for a little bit. Um, Really exciting 16-14 finish. Um, let's see. Uh, Casey, how did Albany do?
You Albany won. Um, they beat Vermont 15-11.
Oh, that's a good win for them. Vermont's caused some problems for some teams this year. Yeah, good for them. All right, let's go Danes. Um, Sad part for dogs, we had BU losing to Lafayette. Um, in a pretty miserable. I mean, it was pretty miserable weather all around here, as you all know. But yeah, lose 11-9. Just never. Basically, just gave up the first couple goals of the game, and it was just back and forth from there. So figure that might drop them out of the rankings. Could be. It's a tough look to lose to an unranked team at this point in the year. Obviously, they got that great win over Army, um, but definitely feels like they'll need to win the Patriot League for a chance at the tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They have to. There's no shot they're getting an at-large bid.
no. Um, so we'll see. I can't conjure up the Patriot League standings off the top of my head. I know well they had done quite well on it so far, so you feel like there's still going to be a one or two seed in there, depending
Hmm.
on how next week goes. I know Army had an absolute thriller against Navy yesterday. Um,
Army's
yeah,
got to
that
be the
was
favorite to win that.
yeah. But again, BU's beat them like the last 2 or 3 years in a row.
Touche.
Yeah, so it really could. I mean, you got to figure they have that believability. Obviously, this past weekend was a little tough, but they know they can do it. Um, Weirdest scores of the weekend: Denver beat Georgetown 7-3 in a game where the weather
Dogfight.
wasn't bad enough to provide that score. Um,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. Georgetown did not score at all in the second half. I mean, obviously they barely scored at all. Period. Um, yeah, and then the complete opposite. Towson beat Hampton 25-3.
25.
Yeah.
That's just
Yikes.
mean.
I was checking the spread for these games before they started. Towson was minus 21 and a half, and so they covered. But and the over under was only 25 and a half. So like man, like Hampton has never won a game in their program history. Um
No.
yeah, They're like 0 and
Oh,
70 or something all time.
that's so brutal.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so
Woof.
I think I'll be like rooting for them somewhere in the back of my mind, pretty much every time I see that they're playing. But um, as you know, hopefully it doesn't come to against like BU or something. But yeah, that'll be quite a night on campus whenever that program finally gets its first win.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no kidding.
Holy Cross lost by a bunch, no surprise. Um, Dartmouth Yale was also a sneaky fun game. I forget the actual score, but it was quite back and forth. I know Yale went up 4-0. Dartmouth tied at 6-6. 21-12 was the final. So Yale did really pull away at the end.
Wow. All
Yeah.
right.
And then D3, we had Tufts stays undefeated. They beat conference rival Middlebury. So you figure they're gonna probably, well, I don't remember who their final opponent is, but um, they're the number one team. They've looked like it the whole way. So you got to figure they'll be the one seed going into the D3 tournament whenever that starts, unless they lose the NESCAC tournament to someone, which
Would
uh,
be a shock.
yeah. But as a alum of a rival NESCAC school, I'll keep my fingers crossed. Yeah, that's the one Boston team I don't really root for that hard.
Speaking of NESCAC schools, you mentioned one
Oh
before
yeah,
we started recording.
yeah. So my alma mater, the Connecticut College Camels, did beat the Grove City of Cannon's new offensive coordinator. That was 15-13 final. So good showing by the offense still. Not gonna say it's their fault, although he's the head coach. I guess but the offense is what he's brought on to do. I think 13 is still a decent showing. Um, yeah, I don't know. If we talk to him at some point, I probably won't bring that up, but it was cool to see, that my Camels got that win over a soon to be professional coach.
What a mascot.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Camels.
yeah. One of I think only two in the whole U.S.
There's
Okay.
two.
I think it's yeah. I think some school in Arizona, which does make a little bit more sense.
A little bit more than
Yeah,
Connecticut.
Yeah.
yeah. The story that I've heard about how we got the name is back in like the 20s. The basketball team was about to play and they realized they didn't have a mascot and like the coach had just been on vacation to Egypt.
All right.
Yeah. I
Very
mean,
creative.
yeah, I mean Williams is the Purple Ephs, so like I feel like we got the step up on them.
Yeah, the liberal arts schools around here have some ridiculous mascots. I played in the ISL in high school, and I mean, some of those teams. You have the Belmont Hill Hillies,
Hmm.
the Brooks Bishops. Like there's some there's not one but two teams that were the Zebras. Yeah, Groton School was the Zebras, and then Middlesex School is also the Zebras. And Middlesex School was founded by an alum of Groton, so he specifically named the team the Zebras because of Groton. It's like you guys didn't realize that Zebras was not a good nickname. Like you had a chance for a do-over, but he like doubled down on it. So
I mean, I guess he really loved his alma mater,
Yeah.
I guess so, but I mean, yeah, then NESCAC, what else you got?
the
The
Jumbos and stuff.
Bowdoin polar bears. Like, I mean, polar
They're-
bears, like, they actually are like a ferocious animal,
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
vicious.
and
but
they're in
like
Maine.
it's
Oh.
the just some interesting mascots for sure.
Yeah, I think you want to strike that balance of we don't need any more Cardinals or well, it's Wesleyan, yeah, but any like the Cardinals, the Wildcats, the Eagles, like we got enough of those nationwide.
Yeah, no, definitely like be creative. I get it. I mean, well, although the schools were around far before there were so many nicknames, so
Yeah.
but still, yeah, just some interesting choices.
Yeah, and the Ivy goes pretty much the whole opposite way, where like they're all colors.
Yeah. Big red,
Yep, the red.
crimson,
There's two that
big
are red.
green.
There's the big red and the crimson, the big
Yeah.
green.
And then the ones that do are so generic. Tigers, Lions. Like, wow, where did you guys come up with that?
Yeah.
Bulldogs. I
I
mean,
mean, well, no, technically even they're the Eli's, right? Because Eli Yale was the founder and they just picked a bulldog.
no, I think they're officially the Bulldogs.
Okay.
But
Um,
like they re are referred to as the Eli's. Like
yeah.
that's like the fun name.
Yeah.
It's like the Cannons or the Boom Squad.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I think it's like that.
Um, Also, to be fair to the Ivies, at least, they were some of the first schools that needed nicknames.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it totally makes like the genericness of it makes sense because you're the first ones, but
Yeah.
to go with camels or zebras is an interesting choice because that's not basic or generic, but it's
Yeah.
not the most inspiring.
That's not inspiring, but we love our camels. Um, take pride in
Fair
that.
enough. Yeah, no. Take pride in whatever, like you didn't choose it, like didn't so you guys are the camels, so
Yeah, we sure
you
are.
take it. Just surprised that that was the choice.
Yeah. I mean, don't underestimate the power of alliteration.
Connecticut College too. That CCC.
Yep.
Lot of C's there. So
Yeah. It's that's a good one. All right. That was a good tangent there.
yeah, that's any
You're
other
welcome.
games to talk about?
Did
Yeah.
we talk about the Maryland and Cornell games yet?
No, yeah. So we had um
Maryland won over Ohio State 13-8.
yep. So that kind of I won't say it throws it the Big Ten up, but like it definitely I don't know, it gives them a better shot and it gives I mean we talked now it gives Michigan the chance to take the Big Ten crown. So the game next weekend, Michigan Ohio State will decide the winner of the Big Ten. Um which is I
Or at
mean
least, well, the number one seed because they'd still
right.
have a tournament.
That's right, yeah. The number one seed of the Big Ten.
Yeah,
Um which not that that game needs any more drama around it, but it is really going to mean a lot to everyone out there on that field. Um,
absolutely.
and Michigan, the Big Ten killers. We'll see. We'll see if they keep it going. I believe they won it last year. Um,
I think they've won it 2 years in a row, haven't they?
I think you're right. Yeah. Um, so they will. Yeah, that's what I'm really looking forward to. That's next Saturday at 4 o'clock. Is the Michigan Ohio State, and then yeah, Cornell and Syracuse, which is one of the few games I did not get to watch. But out there on Long Island, so basically a home game for Syracuse. Um,
Why were they playing in Long Island?
I don't
It's
know.
part of their like that there's always a couple of games there on Long Island every year. It's like a series that they just it's Long Island and it's lacrosse. I mean,
Yeah.
like half the teams, especially with Syracuse and Cornell being New York schools, I mean, half the roster is from Long Island, I imagine. So it's just it's like the
Yeah.
opposite of like when you play in Atlanta or Texas or those grow the game kind of stuff. It's let's put a neutral site game in an absolute hotbed where you're just gonna get the place packed out.
And everyone's parents don't have to drive 3 hours.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Um, yeah, so I don't I yeah, I can't report on the actual like quality of the game. But I do know Cornell won 17 to 12.
Hmm.
Let's see how many points CJ Kirst had in that.
And what about Joey Spallina
Oh,
on
it's
the
just a
other side?
cool CJ Kirst with a cool 5 goals, 3 assists.
Good day.
Um, yep, not a bad day at all. And then on the Q side, we had Spallina just with 1 goal, no assists. So
Kept
held
him
in check.
quiet.
Yeah. I don't. Okay, yeah, they do have the other stats here, but the biggest goal scorer on the day was Luke Roa for Syracuse with 3 goals, 1 assist, and then Mike Leo. Oh, sorry, Owen Hiltz, 4 goals, 2 assists. So that's the big score of the day for them.
There you
Uh,
go.
we'll see if Brian Holman, and we know John O'Derno was watching. So
Definitely.
yeah, I don't
Mhm.
know. I might be starting to stitch that name in the back of the jersey. Although
Uh,
he's a 77, so I don't know. He might need a new jersey number. I don't know if Cade's really hung him up for good or if he's just taken the year off to be with his wife and soon to be newborn child, and then he'll come
we'll
back.
Mm.
see.
Um, but we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. First, the we got to have the draft.
Yes.
True.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah,
Few
yeah,
more
May
weeks.
6th. Um,
3 weeks? Yeah.
yeah, it is sneaking up. Um, hopefully not at the same time as the Celtics playoff game again. Um,
Well,
just
at
because the
least we
Celtics
only
have the
have
night
to
off,
work.
not because the Celtics have been eliminated from the playoffs.
Correct.
Right.
Well, that's what I was going to say, that we only have to worry about conflicting with the Celtics because the Bruins.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
talk about looking forward to the draft. Looking forward to the NHL draft. Not very often that I'm excited about some NHL prospects, guys
No,
that might help the team in 5 years.
looking forward to the lottery too. Uh,
That, yeah.
I believe,
When have I ever watched the NHL draft lottery? When have I even understood how it worked? I actually understand how it works, and it's way too complicated now, but I know how it works.
yeah, no, the last time I cared about that was Tyler Sagan in 2010.
Yeah, that's where the Bruins are right now,
Yep. And that
but
wasn't even their pick. That was Toronto's.
yeah. But anyways, we're
Yeah,
it's a Cannons podcast, so
Yeah.
we'll get back on topic, I guess.
yeah.
But
So we got I think just one more week of the regular season. Um,
not two,
we do have 2 more.
mostly. I think the Big Ten spreads out their tournament, so
Okay, yeah,
they do quarterfinals like that'll be so Big Ten will wrap up this weekend or next weekend, and then they'll do like quarterfinals the last weekend in April with semis and championship the first weekend in May, but most teams just cram it all on to the the first weekend in May because most leagues just do it like the top four. So
yeah,
it's just like a
yes, I
whereas
see.
the
Yeah,
Big
so the
Ten,
the
yeah,
the 26th will be the last day of regular season games, and then the following weekend the conference tournaments would start.
right. And selection Sunday,
Yep.
and then the draft, and then the playoffs, and then PLL.
Yeah. So it's basically summer already. Um,
Perfect.
Ah,
looking out the window at 40 degrees and rain.
Yeah, and the snow yesterday morning. You see that? Oof.
I think
mhm.
I
Yeah.
was still asleep for the snow.
Oh no, I ran. I actually no. It had turned to rain by the time I ran yesterday morning, but it was definitely snowing when I woke up. So yeah, it was not terrific weather yesterday.
No.
But tomorrow's gonna be sunny and 62.
Yep.
So
We just
maybe
gotta.
spring actually is on its
Yeah.
way.
So as the our thousands upon thousands of listeners are hearing these words, hopefully it is sunny and 60 something.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
hope so.
Yeah.
I know we're a Cannons podcast, but we're just a Boston podcast too, right?
Yeah.
I cannot wait to go to a Red Sox game. I can't wait to be back at Fenway, and I just need the weather to be nice
Yeah.
because
I
I'm
went.
not going to go sit at a baseball game at 7 p.m. when it's this cold out.
I went last Monday.
Then
It was awful.
yeah. Yeah, that's
Oh,
it's ridiculous. I don't know why they have so many night games this early in the year. I went to opening day, 2 o'clock start, sunny and 60. I
yeah.
was in shorts and a t-shirt. It was a beautiful day. Like just phenomenal. And I think it's gonna be I'm going to Marathon Monday next week,
Mm.
11 a.m. game. I believe the forecast is also sunny and 60, so hopefully it
Mm.
stays that way. We get some good weather. But
It was 38 degrees, the game that I went to. People booed when they announced the temperature.
As they should. I
As
mean,
they
Yeah.
should. Yeah.
it's ridiculous that you're playing baseball, but because you don't have to.
No.
I think Tuesday was like 25 degrees, and they said it was the third coldest game in Fenway history.
Yeah. I mean, this is not
Fenway's 113 years old.
yeah. The season could just start in May and I don't think people would mind.
No, I also don't think people would mind if you just played in the afternoon until May or June.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and Fenway would still fill it up. I know. I'm probably like 20.
exactly. They're like, oh, let's play at 7 p.m. so people get off work or school, but like, no one wants to go sit in that weather at 7 p.m., whereas people might actually skip a day of work or school if it's at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
I saw
Uh,
tickets were as low as like $9.
Yeah, because no one wants
And
to
I was
go.
like, maybe I could sit out in 38-degree weather for $9 tickets, but
But it's just
ultimately,
not
no, I did
worth
not.
it. It's not worth it.
no, it wasn't. They didn't even win the game.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, they've been very up and down.
yeah. Um,
Yeah. But it's just the beginning of the season, guys,
yep, yep, yep.
right?
Yeah, no,
Long way to
there's
go.
162 games, so
Yep.
a lot of
Could have
baseball left to be played.
Yeah.
not
I
the cross left to be played though. Let's
No,
yeah. We got Harvard Cornell next weekend.
mhm.
That's gonna be
that'll be a good game,
yeah, I
hopefully.
mean I yeah, I don't know if Harvard will get an at-large bid, like assuming they don't win the tournament. Um
Oh, they'll be I have no I mean, it all depends on RPI. I know they
yeah.
have such a convoluted calculating thing.
Yeah.
But
So I feel like if they beat Cornell, that would like almost guarantee them based on
yeah,
um yeah,
that would
getting
certainly be a quality win, a high quality win.
yeah. What else we got? Uh Princeton, Penn, that UMass Richmond, that could be a fun one.
Oh, hopefully, yeah, that would be big if UMass can win that one.
Yeah. Dartmouth, Brown. Um that game will have no postseason implications because I don't think either team is making the tournament at this point. Syracuse, Duke, that'll be fun. That's at 2 o'clock on the ACC networks. We got real TV.
Right?
BU Lehigh, CBS Sports Network. BU trying to save their Patriot League. Um, and yeah, Michigan, Ohio State at 4 for sure, the biggest one. Um, and yeah, that about covers it. I don't. Yeah, Vermont, UMass Lowell. Uh, uh,
Oof.
Albany, Yale could be a nice revenge game for Albany after the 2018 title run that Yale went on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, well, Yale looked good yesterday, but they haven't, it's been a season that they'd rather forget, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, all right. So I guess that about wraps it up. Yeah, hopefully we'll be back with a guest sometime soon. We'll be back, talking about whatever guy 1 or 2 years out of college the Cannons have signed uh this upcoming week. And I don't know, hopefully we're celebrating Harvard's win over number one Cornell.
That'd be
According to
sweet.
the poll from our Instagram, I think last week, Ethan Wall was the fan favorite on the podcast.
Hmm.
People want to see him back again.
All right. Yeah.
So
All right.
maybe Ethan, if you're watching,
If your mom's listening.
if you if your mom is listening, let's get that together again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll we'll reach out to him too when this goes up. Yeah, he's our most listened to episode. So we'll try to get him on again, talk about how he's healed up from Champ Series. And I know he's got all those guys behind him now and on the depth chart. So we'll see if he holds on to that starting spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, Until next week, go Cannons.
Go Cannons.
Boom.
Boom.
Let's try it again.
All right. Yeah,
Are you not going to say boom too, Casey?
I said boom first.
Wait, no, are you not going to say go Cannons? Sorry, is what I meant.
That might have been my fault. I'm so sorry.
No, that's all right. Well, yeah, we'll hit them with the three-way go Cannons, then we'll try to get the boom all at the same time.
Uh,
all right,
okay.
let's do that again.
All right. Practicing until we get it perfect. Go
Let's
Yeah.
Cannons.
go.
Go Cannons.
Go Cannons.
Go Cannons.
Boom.
Boom.
Boom.